Good evening, and thank you for joining me tonight in the Cash Flow Room. I'm your host, Tracy Ewing, Executive Vice President of My Econ and a proud associate of the Money Never Sleeps team. For those of you joining me for the first time, My Econ stands for My Economy, and it's a 13-year-old debt-free company that has helped thousands of associates cash flow more than $400 million. Dollars. We're talking cash flow tonight because without cash flow, there is no flow. Tonight, you're in for a treat. My special guests are business owners and my econ associate EVP Gold, Tony Robinson, and his wife, Doreen Robinson of Potomac, Maryland. I've had the awesome opportunity to get to know this couple and witness their financial success. For the past several months, they have been cash flowing over $600 a month and plan to keep it growing in the coming months. We're, go- oh, we're going to jump right into it and have them share with us tonight what is cash flowing and how it's done. So you can do it too. So without further delay, please welcome Mr. Tony and Doreen Robinson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks for having us,
Thank
Tracy.
you.
So excited.
Thank you for, well, I'm glad. I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you for joining me tonight. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. So can you tell our listeners what is meant?
Are you there, Tracy?
I'm there. My phone beeped. It just,
Okay, repeat the question again.
okay. It says, so can you tell our listeners what is meant by cash flowing?
Okay, I'll start with that. Um, Cash flowing, what is meant to me is creating a positive flow of cash versus a negative flow of cash. It also means streams of income, cash flowing income that is not being interrupted. It is being uninterrupted, actually. And also, it is a definition of not robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, so
Right.
it also focuses on just having cash readily available for your personal financial and your business financial needs. We
Mm-hmm.
also focus on cash flowing as generating cash so that you have
Right.
a constant flow of additional income. Instead of show me the money, show yourself the money.
Yes,
Stop living paycheck
Mm-hmm.
to paycheck
yes.
as most people do, a lot of people do. And so we have embarked on a cash flow system
Hmm.
through my econ, which has given us a way to establish our business and strategize how we can cash flow through a strategy called income shifting. And
Mm-hmm.
my econ associates how to shift their income to have that extra cash flow.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So with the extra cash flow, what is it that you do with the extra cash flow?
Well, Tracy, once you in order to create a flash cash flow strategy, with me and what actually what does is to set goals, have a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to implement your plan. And our plan
Mm-hmm.
started with first we was creating an emergency fund, which everyone needs to have an emergency fund, and then we also had
Mm-hmm.
part of our plan was how we was going to eliminate debt. And debt means getting rid of and paying down on high interest rate credit cards as well as loans.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first thing we started doing to create this extra cash flow.
And then having a business,
Okay.
Tracy, it also allowed us to create more legitimate expenses for our business.
Mm-hmm.
For
Hmm.
example,
Right.
instead of having maybe a handful of typical business expenses, we were able to, through financial literacy, obtain 475 tax deductions that are
Yes.
available for businesses and self-employed individuals to be
Mm-hmm.
able to take advantage of that And like I said, with that cash flow, create more expenses that would benefit the business. And of course, we get a write-off as a result. So having this
Right.
cash flow, this generating the cash flow through this cash flow system, it's freeing up more cash to invest. Eventually, we want to invest in real estate and stocks, put more cash towards our kids' college expenses, and definitely our retirement. So it's been a real, great experience to be able to do that with this cash flow.
Now, can anybody cash flow, or does it work better for someone that has a job, or if they're on Social Security disability or SSI or retired? Is it still a good idea for them to be able to cash flow as well?
That's a great question. So once we take on the individual under my econ as an associate, we work with that individual because it is on a case basis. You have people that are retirees, we have people on disability, we have workers, and we also have business owners. So it really all depends on what category you fall into. But rest assured, have something for everybody,
Yes.
and we allow them to independently be able to come up with a cash flow strategy by setting those goals and coming up with the best mechanism for that individual. So yes, to answer your question, there is something for everybody so that they too can take advantage of that cash flow system and generate wealth.
Right. You had mentioned strategies. Now, what type of strategies, and does my econ provide the tools to help them succeed and meet the goals that they've set?
Absolutely. We have a system. Once someone joins my econ, we immediately put them on a path, what we call the 7 steps to success. Step by step with them, we teach them, we guide them, and we allow them to, once again, see their individual financial situation and develop that income shifting strategy to be able to take advantage of the cash flow strategy.
So what happens if, say, they join and they were able to start cash flowing, but they're not using the money to where it needs to go, like to pay off debts, or even if they don't have debts, try to invest in something to get that passive income. But if they don't do what they're supposed to do with the cash flow, and they're not sticking to their own strategy, what can happen?
Well,
go ahead, babe. Go ahead.
That's a very good question. Good questions here.
Thank you.
Off the bat, I would say that is a no-no. I mean, you don't want to have generate the cash flow and then put yourself back in a situation where you're negative, like we talked about earlier.
And it's done.
Yeah, you always want a positive cash flow. So that again comes with discipline and with anything. It doesn't matter what you're involved with, whether you're involved in something else or my econ, you still need to have discipline. And you know what? It's also a mindset, because bottom line is, people are tired of being sick and tired. And it's time to decide to change and mean it, so that you can learn cash flow, take advantage of that money, so that you will be further steps ahead than where you were when you started. So just taking that cash flow and setting up the goals so that you can have a means, so you won't be going back to square one, but you'll be progressing in the months and years to come.
Right. Well, actually, you've answered my next question, because it was gonna, what do you recommend our listeners do with the cash flow? And you did briefly touch on that. And did I hear you say invest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Tracy, this question on your last question you just mentioned. How do we recommend listeners cash flow? What worked for me is, when you become an associate of my ecom, it's a financial literacy team, and we will teach and guide you through cash strategies, as well as financial information sharing. And
Mhm.
the old saying, "You learn as you earn." That is what we
Mhm.
for. So that was one of the techniques that I was able to um, get my cash flow.
Mhm. So for people that want to join, or they're interested in joining, or they've heard about it, are there any meetings or presentations that they can attend to get more information and kind of more in depth information and kind of answer their questions and concerns?
Yes, absolutely. We definitely set them up to a pathway of success. We have
Mhm.
presentations, not only for my econ associates, but we have presentations where we invite guests. And so
Mhm.
here, step by step of, how it's done, and encourage them
Mhm.
if we want to make a change within their financial um, lives. So one of the things that we also talk about is there's a couple of different cash flow scenarios. So number,
Mhm.
if you're single and a worker,
Mhm.
you go from being a 1040 filer with minimum deductions to becoming
Mhm.
1040 and Schedule C business owner.
Mhm.
For example,
Right.
home-based business, network marketing, etc. So you can take
Mhm.
advantage of all the legitimate tax deductions related to your business, and that you can begin to utilize the cash flow options, and all that's
Well,
done
with all
with my econ.
Well, with all the deductions, because I know you said 475. Now, does this go under a person that has an LLC or EIN or anything like that? Would it, or could they still be able to benefit from it, or do they have to, you know, set up their LLC?
Right, absolutely. And that is point number two. If you're married and your spouse is
Mhm.
a business owner like us,
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
file jointly with a Schedule C
Mhm.
and take advantage of the legitimate tax deductions related to the business and begin to utilize the cash flow options. Now, you
Mhm.
have to have an LLC. You can
Mhm.
a sole proprietor, self-employed individual, but as long as
Mhm.
you are establishing yourself as a business. So, eventually some people may want to get their LLC, several years down the road, as
Mhm.
of course generate more income and expenses. So that
Right.
is the option that's out there. And then lastly, if you are married and both you and your spouse are workers, we have something for you.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You go from being 1040 filers with minimum deductions to becoming a 1040 and Schedule C.
Mhm.
You can file jointly, but one of you must become a business owner. So same
Right.
principles, you have your home-based business in your home. You can do network
Mhm.
marketing, which is a very
Mm-hmm.
easy way to become a business owner, and you can
Mhm.
take advantage of all those, once again, legitimate
Yes.
deductions that we
Right.
described. There's 475 tax deductions. So all of these three scenarios, we talk more about that as people join and become a MyEcon associate, but it puts
Mhm.
path to success, and that's what we're all
Right.
about. We really
Right.
to help people to close that
Yes.
generational wealth gap and
Mhm.
their families and their communities,
Yes.
and really take their financial situation to another level. And so that's
Right.
what we offer, and we're really proud to be a part of that
Yes.
because it has brought a lot of success to us just in the
Mhm.
time that we've been involved with my econ.
Right, and success for them as well. Now, I know there's a conference coming up. Is it open to the public, or is it just for associates? And do you know where it's located?
Yes, it is available to all of our associates. We have a lot of associates in the DMV area, but it's open to
Mhm.
everyone.
And
And
you
then
are allowed to bring your
yes, you can
guests.
bring your guests.
Please.
Okay.
More the merrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
So yes, it's going to be at the Greenbelt Marriott in
And the
Greenbelt,
guests and the
Maryland.
guests are free.
Okay. Well, they'll love to hear that.
Yes.
Right. It's $20 at the door, and though it's coming up
Mhm.
this coming Saturday. So
Mhm.
there's not a whole lot of time, but it's definitely available to all.
Okay. Well, to my listeners, thank you for joining and being part of tonight's podcast. I really appreciate having Tony and Doreen. If you'd like to become an associate so that you too can begin cash flowing, please go to my website at tracyewing.myecon.net, TracyEwing.myecon.net, or you can message me on 641-715-3900 and use extension 388972. Until next time, thank you and good night.